Hopefully there are folks in chat. Cool. Yeah, let me just wait. I'm just waiting on my end just to verify that it's come back. Yeah, it looks like I'm streaming. Uh, I think so. Okay, so let me just go ahead and um, it would be nice to get confirmation from chat, but no worries there. Cool. So hey everybody, I'm Joshua. Today is May 21st, 2017, and today I'm working on my video game Delver, which you can see behind my head here. That's our website. It's delvergame.com. For those of you who don't know, Delver is a procedurally generated dungeon crawler with fantasy, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. We are in early access, so you can support if you want to get us. You can buy us on Steam if you like, or if you want to buy us on Humble, we're $7.99 both places, and you do get a Steam key here when you buy us on Humble. But if you'd rather wait for us to become a full release, that's cool. I get that. Not early access isn't for everybody. We are planning on releasing this year. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully before the end of the year. Setbacks do happen, and that's kind of what I'm here on my live stream is to talk about like the past week in development and what's going on, and to do some work. So for if you don't know, if you're new to Delver, when I say we, I mean the two people working on it. So I'm the art guy. I'm Joshua. I do all the 2D, 3D art, a lot of the level design, some coding. You know, again, we're a small team. We wear lots of hats. The other person working on this project is named Chad, and he is the original creator. He's the he wrote the engine, all the tools. He's done a lot of level design. Basically, we complement each other, and whatever one doesn't do, the other does to make sure the game gets made. Cool. So I guess the next step is to actually open up all my dev apps, because that'd probably be good. I think Chad's been making some changes this week, so I will go over some of the I guess the changes over this past week is kind of the thing I do. Cool. Let's get all that out of the way. Make sure you can see the window so my head isn't blocking it. Let's go to repositories. GitHub Delver. Okay, we are up to date, which is good. I'm just going to do a git log one line here. Some pretty printing. And it looks like, yeah, so I kind of I fixed up the wall GenInfo placement last stream, I believe, or close to that. No, probably this week sometime. I know there were a few edge cases I had missed, so I was just cleaning those up to make sure that this system still is working well and is robust. I think on my so Chad also added a new editor tile selection mode, which is pretty cool. It allows you to set the height of a given tile, which is pretty cool. Looks like there's a monster pathing related crash that Chad fixed, so crash is always good to fix. Refactored ambient lighting and shaders. Let me see. Fixing overworld chunk offset bugs, so more fix to the overworld, which is cool. And now this is the one I'm excited about, is exposing like chunk tiles, map chunks, and maps complexity in level generation parameters, which now means that we can have procedurally generated areas with rooms of different sizes. Up until now, the generator had a room size that was hard coded to 17 by 17. Now that is not the case. You can have I believe an arbitrarily sized room that we will piece together correctly. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah. It also looks like he's hooked up the room builder to that too. So not only can we use the rooms you make at a smaller size or larger size, but the room builder should handle those as well. Okay, I think it's been kind of a quiet week in development. Cool. Let me just get back to try to figure out where I was. I think I was still mostly working on my my new dungeon theme. That's probably what I'm going to continue chipping away at. I just fire open the editor, look at my test level, and kind of refresh myself as to where I am. Levels, test, new dungeon theme, load. So I haven't saved any changes. Still have that window up there. It's kind of working, I guess. Also pop up in Photoshop and Blender and see what else I got going on. The last thing I committed were a bunch of whip props. So the test flag, yeah. Again, I'm not sure if I'm sold on the flag or not, but maybe. In recent. I think it's this one. There we go. Let's try throwing that down. Hey, Perks Up Gap. No, I've only been streaming about 7 minutes, so you are just in time. Cool. So, misc meshes. Go. Mesh file should be dungeon. I think it's test flag 0 is the one that has a bit of a 3D effect to it. The other one does not. Textures and dungeon slash meshes.ping. Okay. There we go. Delete that guy and slam this on the wall. There we go. I suppose it's not bad. Maybe if I straighten it out a bit, maybe some of that sag on the sides is what's is bothering me. Let me just try that real quick. I know it's technically more realistic, but I think it like a lot of Delver is very rectilinear, so maybe making it agree with that would make me happy. Oh, no to the brush. There we go. Quickly, again, this is a pretty fast and dirty texture too, so I'm not going to spend too much time trying to fix it just yet. Maybe I can just use a little bit of shading to imply that it comes in a bit, but actually not have it change this silhouette. Maybe that's what was bothering me. Who knows? Let's save that, and then we're in Delver. We can hit play and hit the debug key, and then just refresh our assets. There we go. Yeah, maybe I do like that better. Yeah, I can also play with the color of the sellout as well to try to make it feel in some places maybe lighter. Okay. Hey Javier, how are you, sir? Uh, don't toggle no clip, just refresh the assets. There we go. Yeah, I think that was mostly it. Um, and now to 3D or not to 3D is the question. Like, can you even tell because it's the 3D part is so high up, you might not even be able to notice. Pull it off the wall to get rid of the Z fighting. And like test flag 1 was the flat one. There we go. Yeah, you can't really even tell. It's very subtle. I don't know. I may keep it. Maybe. Yeah, I'm streaming a bit earlier today. There are some family stuff that my wife and I are doing that I guess slipped my mind last week, so I forgot to let folks know. So it might be a quieter stream today. Apologies, folks. Yeah, no, there is I guess a bunch of parents are getting together just to celebrate all their children's birthdays. So Malcolm's was in April last month, but I think we're just going to try to get all the kiddos, just have them, let them all have one big birthday party. So they're all about one. Um, so that should be interesting, should be chaotic. Um, yeah. Now I'm just trying to figure out what color should be here. And the green is okay, but I'm not sure if I'm loving it. I can try maybe red. We'll see. We'll see. And here I'm just playing around with maybe a little hue shifting, a little. I also like to shift the saturation as well. Okay, play, okay, refresh. Maybe the red is better? Not sure. Yeah, I could make it less ragged. I could certainly clean it up. I mean, I could, yeah, that's certainly something I can do. Uh, Turn on my grid. Get some help. There we go. So Javier says, better that way, all at once. Not quite sure what you're referring to there, Javier. I wonder, maybe a little bit of tatter would be okay here. Maybe the V-shapes. Maybe they're working. Maybe let me get rid of the tatter though. We just clean them up real quick and see what that looks like. I can still imply a little bit of a fold there. I think that would work. Save that. And that's out. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is probably better just to get all the birthdays out of the way at once. Which I guess it's also nice because we don't have any family up in the area. So it's nice to have something of a little bit of celebration for him, so him and his little friends can get together and have a good time because they're all roughly the same age. So that's nice as far as like, I don't know, just like kind of expectations of what they can do and like what, if they'll have fun or not. I know Nick suggested this last stream, but I'm not sure I'm feeling that weird trifold thing he was asking about. No offense to Nick, I wasn't particularly feeling it, so let me just try something different real quick. The parts that were hanging down on the left and the right were bothering me. They seemed out of place. Sure, Tessa. No worries, man. Again, I'm all for trying out things and experimenting and seeing, sometimes it's really hard to articulate why something just doesn't look right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. Save. Again, I might be going too heavy on the folds as well. Who knows? Lumia Mia says, "Hey Josh, I love the game. I've been playing for a long time. I was wondering if you plan on releasing the Switch one day." Console support would be cool, but the problem is the game as it stands right now is written in Java and uses OpenGL. So we would have to port all the code from Java to probably C or C++, and we'd also have to rewrite the graphics layer and probably the input handling layer to be able to. I think most consoles these days are DirectX machines, to be honest with you. So it just represents a lot of work that we don't have the time or expertise or money for. So maybe if Delver sells well, we can put some of that towards porting it. But right now, I would say with our resources, probably no consoles. It's just a lot of time and money and effort that we just don't have. I'm wondering also, like what Tesla's saying, if these should be more curved. I don't know. Kind of hard to say because it. Yeah, no problems. I try to answer all the questions I get here on the stream. We try to be really good about listening to feedback and I'm here to communicate to you what we're thinking as we develop. Trying to be less secret about those things. That's a little bit better, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know. Let me try playing around with the colors a little bit. It might be maybe more red and less purple. Sat all the way up. Let me find my red. There's a red. Go back down. There. Fix this darker hue. Pull more towards red. Maybe pull this more towards orange. That looks like. Can I even can I even tell? Yeah, it's because a lot of the lighting in Delver is already contributes a lot of yellowish light, so it might be hard to tell. That is true. I guess these pieces do go a long ways to breaking up just long sections of wall. That's why I'm kind of also introducing other architectural elements as well to try to help break up some of the repetition. Yeah, I'm thinking they're okay where they're at. I don't absolutely hate them. Do you folks have any thoughts as to like 3D versus not 3D? Like from a distance, I don't think you can even really tell. Yeah, it might just be fine doing a 2D model because the one 3 dimensionality, unless you're really right up looking at it. I mean, the grazing angles too is probably where you're going to get a lot of the mileage out of it. I don't know. Hey, why? Yeah, I'm feeling that all right. Let me see if I can fiddle around with the wall GenInfo placer to see if I can get it to start laying down both the windows and these flags, you know, semi-procedurally, where it's based on the tile that is underlying it. So let's do that. So I need to look at generator dungeon, I believe info.dat, and yeah, here's the window on a wall. And the chance is 0. Let's make the chance 1 just to get so I can see what it's doing. I think it's level.java, and here is when we actually place our GenInfos. Yeah, so let me just drop a breakpoint here. Me close. I only care about my GenInfo definition and then debugging the GenInfo system. Okay. So let's open up the editor in debug mode. Open. Levels, test, dungeon theme, load. Then when I enter play mode, it should hit all the GenInfo placement. There we go. Cool. Yeah, this is hanging moss, not interesting. Yeah, so let's go back up here and look at all the different yeah, up here. This is basically for each tile. It goes through all the infos it could possibly place. So I'm only interested in the one that is so info.comment is what I care about. Hanging roots, spiderweb, small mushrooms, glowing crystals, rocks, decorative grass, critters, hanging moss, window on a wall. There we go. This is just figuring out if it's if the wall texture is a match. Okay, so wall match. Is wall text? Yeah. Let me add a conditional breakpoint here. So I want to say wall match equals true, and info.walltext not equal to null. Done. There we go. So this should be true. There we go. And our info object is window on a wall. So cool. That's where we wanted to have a breakpoint. Let's step through all this stuff. Okay. Yeah, so this creates a copy of the object. Yep, that is looking good. For entity copy and copy list. So we iterate through all of the. Yeah, so we're just setting up their x and y coords. Copy z equals current floor height. So this might. So what might be better here is have a plus equals as well, so we preserve the z offset if we want one. Unless we want a attached to floor behavior. Yeah. So we have attached to ceiling, we have attached to wall. So I'm thinking also we should. This is basically attached to floor behavior. Do we? Let's look at GenInfo object. Oh. So we have attached ceiling and attached wall. So I guess by default, the GenInfo's attached to a floor. So trying to think of what's the correct behavior here. Because what I want the things attached to a wall to be able to preserve their z offset. So maybe so maybe do that only if not attached to wall. Because if attached, like for example, so basically the behavior is, if you say attached to wall, you can either have it at the bottom of the wall or at the top of the wall, but you can't really have it float in the middle. And what I would like is to be able to have it honor its offset somehow. I don't want to break all the behavior of all the existing GenInfos is the other thing. So we have some properties. We have comment, pixel, marker, wall text, floor text, seal text, spawns, cluster count. I could add an attached to floor property, have it default to true, and that would preserve behavior. Let me try that. I think that would be okay. So public boolean attach floor equals true. That's what they're already doing. And then here, if Info.attach floor. That's cool. But if it's not, so if it doesn't attach to the floor, I don't want it to have a global. Like I don't want always to be at a certain z height. I want it to offset it from the floor, I suppose. Let's try that and see how that feels. Else. Oh, sorry. Again, getting used to Mac keys. And switching over to Windows breaks my brain. So duplicate that, and then let's push it down here. What we want is just copy.z plus equals current floor. So we basically want to preserve its z offset. Then over here on our info.dat window. Do prefabs have a prefab is a group? Do they have a, let me just check real quick. How about in there init this.z? They do have a z property. But I think this this unpacks them, maybe? Let's try that. Let's try setting the z here on this prefab object. Z. Let's just set it to 1 right now. See how that behaves. Debug. Levels. Best new dungeon theme. Play. Okay. So this should only be breaking if the wall matches true and the wall text is, yeah, wall text is not null. Okay. Let's step through and see what's going on. Okay. Creating our copy. Attached floor. It's true because I didn't set that property. Window on the wall. Attach wall true. Attach floor false. There we go. Step, step, step. Okay, so we have should just be the copy list should just be a prefab, I believe. And this items as a prefab. Its z is 1. Okay, cool. Let's step through this. Attach the floor. So our z is just incremented by the current floor height, which I think is 0. So it shouldn't look too. I mean, it shouldn't be that visually different. Continue. Let me just continue and see what that thing did. Oh yeah, cool. It is slamming them up higher, which is good, except for now it's putting them into spots where there simply just isn't space for them. But we're getting closer. So yeah, I definitely need to do a bounds check here again too to make sure that it's not being placed out of bounds like these windows are here. I still need to figure out why this is being offset from the wall as much as it is. For some reason in this demo level, I can't ever seem to find the sweet spot for the door, or maybe it's an artifact of debugging because I noticed also I lost some of the UI on my inventory. That seems to be a step in the more correct direction. So I think in level we have a add wall decorate with wall width. Yeah, so here, maybe here I can see if the sprite direction. Yeah, so we determine the tile here. We don't overlap existing geo. Yeah, I can just do a quick just do a quick check to see if it's within the, if it's contained within the bounds of the vertical bounds of the current tile. My question is if it's only partially contained, should we still show it? I'm thinking maybe. Or should we only show it if it's fully contained? Questions. Oh, I think so entities.add window on. Where do they have this? Dungeon sets window. I think if I, instead of placing this as a prefab, I place it as a mesh, I think the collision stuff will be resolved. I think there's an issue with rotating prefabs. But let me just try that real quick. So let me just paste this in here. And save. This will, yeah, let's see. Yeah, Javier is agreeing that we probably ought not place a GenInfo unless it's fully contained within the vertical space of a tile, which I think is wise. I think it makes it easier to deal with for people who are trying to make content as well. Yeah, there are all kinds of off. Let's see, is dynamic. So I think on the, not the insert, but the other one, true. Let's try playing that again. I would say it looks like it's, is it not rotating them at all? Is it always placing them? Looks like it's always placing them at a fixed angle, which is weird because I would expect them to be rotated. It was rotating them fine as a prefab, but this is a group now. Yeah, let me try just one more testing thing. Let's just do just the model and not anything else. Don't know what that matches up with. This should match up with that. That should match up with that. There we go. And now let's try that. It should only place. Yeah, so that works. So yeah, definitely. I think Javier's even commented on this that something is up with the way we place our groups and yeah. One of these, yeah, one of these needs to be wider. Let me look at here. I think I have one of these set up correctly. I'll replace entity, dungeon sets, window, ungroup. Oh, is solid through. And then, yeah, it needs to be way wider on one of these axes. Not that one. I think 0.5 is correct. Yeah, try that. Save, and let's just pop back in here. See what it does. Yeah, that is the correct collision. Nice. So it looks like it's not handling some stuff with groups correctly. So I could fix groups, or I could just not use them. Because the thing I'm doing with it's not super sophisticated. Like now I could think even if I did the whole, like if I wanted to offset this window on the wall, I could do that. So after the spawns property, do a Z and say 1.2. I think that's where the other ones are roughly at. Or they are gone. See where they ended up. K, no clip. They don't seem to be being placed now. Attached to floor. Oh, wait, that makes no sense, Joshua. You have to put it on this actual thing I'm spawning. So yeah, let's do after the texture file is what I meant to do. 1, 2. I may have. May need a rerun. Did I break the? Oh, there it is. Okay. And if I offset the Z, let's just do it right here. Z 0.5. All the models should jump up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Seems to be behaving correctly. Okay. This is where I wanted them to jump up to. Yeah, it's just putting them up higher, which I think is roughly at the same height as my mock windows. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Javier. Yeah. So it's getting closer to what I think would be interesting. So I'm trying to figure out. I should probably figure out why it's not handling groups the same way that it's handling meshes. So in theory, it should handle them both equally. I mean, so how we do a group is just a collection of entities, and then when we go ahead and we drop them into the world, we just ungroup them and place them as individual entities at runtime. So I think something in that process is not working quite like we think it ought. Yeah, so far these are again, the placing at the correct height. There we go. I wonder if they aren't placing as frequently because they are counting as an intersection if they touch. Like if I backed off the collision here to 4.9, that probably isn't visible to the player, but yeah, so there they go. Would allow them to spawn next to each other if so desired. Yeah, there we go, little row windows, because it's cranked up to the max right now. Cool. And it looks like that one's spawning in the ceiling. That one's spawning okay. Spawning in the ceiling, but the thing is it's not spawning it over these meshes, which is good. Cool. Yeah, so I think the checking in to see if it's contained within a tile should be relatively straightforward. So let's check that out. Should be just be in this levels.java and the decorate wall width. I think I have a helper method called entities intersect. I guess you could really quickly just make a public boolean entity contain in tile entity e thinking. So we give it an entity and it will tell us whether or not this entity, the bounding box top is less than the ceiling and its bounding box bottom is greater than the floor should be the check we need to do. So I can just Control D and then Alt Shift and slide that down. So we have the entity's bounding box. We need to grab the tile. How do we grab tile info? I think it's up here. Get tile at chords. So cool. Let me just copy that and paste that so I don't mess that up. My brain is so tile T, get tile X, Y. But I think we can just base that off of yeah. I just do this cast right here. This is e.x, e.y. Okay, I don't know if I'm actually, I could probably just copy and paste these down here because I don't think actually I'm going to reuse these X and Y chords. Tile T. Then we just need to return EBB dot. I'm trying to think. What properties do our bounding boxes have? Get center X, get corner, width, get height. So maybe height. Oh, dim Y. Wait, no. Depth. Again, I have a feeling that there are a couple different coordinate systems we're using. Hey, Marticus11. Yeah, Delver is in fact made in Java. This is a libgdx bounding box. Which is why we might be using two different coordinate systems. Cool, yeah. I typically get a few game devs popping into my stream, which is always cool. width, height, depth. Yeah, let me just real quick, let me just return true. And I'm just going to call it just to see like what the tile in this bounding box looks like. So up here, so don't overlap existing geo. Yeah, so I'm just going through, checking all the entities. If they intersect with this entity, we don't do it. So those are just for all those things. So something like don't place outside of level. This is if, let's just real quick, let's just say this dot entity contained in tile, I think we call it sprite. Even though it's not necessarily always a sprite. I think the initial implementation they were though. Cool, drop a breakpoint there. I think I can actually just do a hot, just do a recompile, and that should just patch it, I think. Maybe not. I think I've changed, let's just see. Let's see if it actually works the way I think it's gonna work. No, yeah, I think I made like a signature change. Yeah. Let me just stop and redebug. Because like as long as you change just like method contents, I think you can like hot patch a running Java instance with IntelliJ. But since I changed the signature of the class, I think that's why it wouldn't let me do that. If I'm incorrect, please correct me because I'd like to know better the rules on that. So let's hit play. There we go. So entity contained in tile. So step inside. We have this bounding box, which is, okay, so these are the chords. Let me see. So EBB. We do something like EBB dot get height is 13713. Interesting. EBB. No, I'm gonna rename this one. EBB get width, and one more. I think the height, width, and depth. I'm just trying to see what, because these are in terms of libgdx, and I'm trying to see what they are in terms of Delver depth. Okay, so the, yeah, I think that seems right. So the height is what I want because I think they are some weird height, unfortunately. Yep. So yeah, that's the width, that's the depth, that's the height. Cool. So I want to play around with tile and step over and see what properties of tile. I think a tile should just have, I think it should be a height and a seal height and a floor height property on this. Let me try these. Adding a new watch. Nope. New watch. T dot floor height. There we go. And new watch. T dot seal height. Okay, so what I do is I need to take into account the bounding box. Not only the height, but the height and the depth are relative to the bounding box itself, but I want to actually get it within the tile or the world space. Basically, because this is world space, that's world space. This is local space. I need to compare them on equal terms. Arcane Gronto says I wrote a voxel engine in Java with JMonkey engine. Hey, Gavin! Thanks for stopping by, man. Woo! Hey, folks. How the heck are you? Cool. Well, welcome, folks. Here, let me just play some Delver real quick, since we're talking about it. I think I can play Delver without breaking stuff. Let's see. Actually, I think this branch might be broken just for vanilla Delver. I think there are GFX errors all over the place. Yeah, this is written in Java. It uses the libgdx framework, which is a wrapper for LWJGL. Cool. Yeah, so this is the campfire area. This is where you start. So this is like a procedural dungeon crawler with roguelike and first-person shooter elements. You can buy stuff here if you so desire, but since this is a new run, you don't have a lot of starting money. Let's go down into the dungeon. That's procedurally generated, so this floor layout will be different each time. Yeah, I was worried about this. Let me pop over to oh man. Let me maybe just run the Steam version. That might be acceptable. That shouldn't have any of my breaking dev changes. Love the camera handling when turning. Yeah, we try to add. There are lots of little bits we are trying to play around with. So, let me see. Like when you look around, your weapon should lag a little. Which I don't know, which is just a little consideration. We think it adds a little bit of weight. That way the weapon doesn't feel glued to your head. Also, like when you sidestep, we tilt the camera just so much. That's the thing. I think that's pulled from like Quake. I think some early first-person shooters did stuff like that. Yeah, so there are little details we're trying to get right, trying to make it feel good. Wherever we can and whenever we can. So I have mods installed, so that's why there's a revolver there. Last update, beginning or sometime in April, we released Steam Workshop support. So there are mods out where people can download and play, and usually they're pretty crazy. There are some that are really like restrained. Like the Lobo there in chat has a massive weapons mod that adds 48 weapons to Delver. Last I checked, so it might be more now, but yeah, it's really cool. There's lots of creativity in the Delver community. Thank you. Yeah, I'm the art guy. So we're a two-man team working on this. We work on this in our free time as we have time. So right now, I do freelance game development, and I'm in between contracts, so I'm working more on Delver. But typically, Delver has always been something I've done in the evenings when I have time. And the same for Chad. Chad, the other developer, has a full-time job, so he works on Delver again in his free time. But yeah, we're trying to make the best thing that we can with the resources that we have. We're okay. Let's see, zap these guys. But yeah, so I handle all the 2D, 3D art, some of the level design, some programming, and Chad is the guy who wrote the engine. He wrote all the tools we use. He's the original creator. Yeah. In small teams, you have to wear lots of hats simply because of just the team size. Like if there are things that we can sidestep and not do, sure, that's probably a better route. But sometimes, one of us has to sit down and figure out like how to do a thing, even if it's not our thing. So I've been doing these dev streams every Sunday, and I've been trying to be more active in the community, kind of like a community, I guess, manager role. Even though I really am not super trained for it, but I've been I teleported myself. It's important to have somebody that listens and talks to the community. This was a result. I took a year off when my son was born, or during the pregnancy while my son was born, and people thought the project was dead. So I've been trying to be more active in the community to let folks know that we are working on this. It's just the pace is very slow because we don't have full-time resources to put towards this. Delver is built on libgdx. Hey, GUI2203. I think I got turned around, but yeah. So you have a couple levels of dungeon. You hit a shopkeeper, and then you get down into the cave areas. And again, I'm trying to make them feel different as far as like visual and like just the way they play. What I'm doing right now as my current workload is I'm redesigning the dungeon area, because the one we just came from, because that's the oldest. So basically, I guess we just kind of this started off as a hobby project, so we never really planned it out as a commercial project. So we just kind of built it as we went. So the dungeon areas are the oldest. We've been working on it 4 years now. I think Chad's been on it probably 5. But the dungeon area is the oldest, and also it's the least nice looking, but also over the course of 4 years, we've developed practices. We have better tech. I'm on fire now too. That is not good. Turkey leg saved me. Where's this guy sniping me? There we go. No, it's shotgun shells. Revolvers don't take shotgun shells. Oh man. Oh man. Okay, I'm not on fire anymore. That's good. Let me see. This one, don't need it. Let's grab Tesla Coil's shovel. That's the thing. So yeah, so one of the viewers here made this shovel as a as an additional weapon, which is pretty cool. Let's go this way. Hey, Adapunk. Cool. So let's drop down here. Just kind of wandering at random. I think either when I hit the next level down or when I die, I'll go back to work. But just letting some of the new folks see what Delver is all about. I guess Gavin is hosting me. Gavin is Drunk Devs. I did a project with him years ago. He's a pretty fun guy, good developer. So thanks for hosting me for a little bit. Arrows. So I have like shotgun shells, but no shotgun. I have a revolver, but no bullets, and I have arrows, but no bow. I've been thinking about maybe it would be, I guess, logical that if we place one of those items, maybe we should also drop. Basically, I'm thinking of a system maybe where you can have additional spawns. So if you place a bow, you can say, go ahead and also place arrows. Or it could be any entity at all. But I'm just thinking maybe that like having some way to logically group entities when randomly dropping them might be a good thing to do. And this little worm poisoned me. Dang it. Oh, go back to my shovel. Shovel. Ah, okay. Dead. Yeah, the project is called, let me just show it off real quick, Gavin. It's called Full Moon Rising, if I remember correct. Full Moon Rising. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this is the game that I made with Gavin. It's called Full Moon Rising, and it's a little platformer where you play a guy who has to go turn himself into a werewolf. So it's kind of experimental. It's an interesting idea where the first half of the game, like all the enemies are super dangerous, they'll kill you. But then when you finally turn to a werewolf, it kind of flips it where you can really start to fight back. Yeah, you can find, if you go to drunkdevs.com and you look for Full Moon Rising, you can find it. And Gavin, if you want to post a link here, you're welcome to. Cool. So back to trying to keep these darn things contained within the tile itself. Yeah. Hey Gavin, I don't really. I guess I trust my viewers quite a bit because I don't really have a lot of I don't have a lot of rules on my channel. I hope folks are kind, and if they aren't kind, if they're jerks, I just ban them. That's kind of where I've landed on that. Yeah, it is a little lewd. I was a younger man when we made it. It was probably 5 years ago now. think I was still 20 back then, maybe even older. Yeah, and we were probably, I think we were definitely intoxicated when we came up with the idea. Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny too. Like we spent like an hour just talking about random ideas, and then somebody just throws out the "Hey, what if you're a werewolf?" idea, and then we all get quiet. It's pretty interesting. Let me see. So what I want is, I want to determine EBB bounds in world space, and then I want to do a check. Bounding box. So min max. These are just two chords. These are just the weird corners. I don't. Like that's fine, I guess, but I want to get like the height. Let me look up libgdx bounding box. Maybe I should look at the API ref. Libgdx bounding box. Sometimes it's totally fine to, actually all the time it's totally fine to read the docs, because if you don't write it, it's nice to have somebody help you out and how to use the thing. So this get corner, oh, yeah, not much description there. Okay, so I might just have to just do it manually with the min and the max chord, which shouldn't be bad. So I think it is the Z that I want. Let me just go into debug mode and see what this is doing. I think it should be something like EBB min chord Z and EBB max chord Z. Right, so it has a get height, but that returns the local height, if that makes sense. So the height of the box is, say, 1.25, but I want to, it's offset from the floor. So it's offset from the origin plane, say 1.25, so you have to do the sum. So it's just easier just to check that property. Yeah, because I think I do have I was playing around with the get height, get width, get depth. Here in my, if you look at my watch variables, I've been playing around with that, but I have to do just a little bit more work than that, but that's okay. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to run the editor, which I thought I clicked, but maybe I didn't. Develop edit. Yeah, we also wrote our own editor, which is nice because it does exactly what we want, but it's also, it only does what we tell it to. Again, it's the blessing and the curse of writing your own tools. Test. Go. Alrighty, and play. Okay, I need to drop that breakpoint back in, I guess. There we go. Okay, escape, play, hit the breakpoint, step into. So this EBB, I want this EBB should have a max and min chord. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, and this Z, yeah, so the Z corresponds to I think the height. So if I just do the math real quick, so which one is offset most? So that's about 1 unit. This one is the most. Looks like the Y chord here is the actual up. Yeah, 209375 minus 075. So that's probably close to what I'm looking for. Add a new watch. EBB dot max dot Y. If I subtract this from EBB dot min dot Y, which is our height. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, libgdx has been cool to us. Personally, I'm pretty language and tool agnostic. So I use Photoshop and I use Pixel Edit and I use Blender for my pixel art. Like, it doesn't really matter. I just use whatever tool gets the job done the fastest. Let me see. So if t dot seal height. So if ebb dot max dot y is greater than seal height, return false. And it's not Python, Joshua. There we go. Yeah, it's still not Python. I need to close these in. Wow, my brain is acting weird today. I'm working on I guess a semi-secret Python project, so maybe I'll talk about that in the future sometime on a non-Delver stream. And then if let me just do those real quick. So if ebb dot min dot y is less than t dot floor height, return false. Return false. Otherwise, the conditions are satisfied and we can return true. Oh, it's not. It's actually a tool. It's not really a game. So take it however you will. Like I like making. It's weird. Like I have like part of my brain is programming and part of my brain is art, and writing tools is kind of a nice little middle ground for that too. Which writing tools can be pretty boring at times. Okay, here we go. So let's debug this, and this should. So also, let me just go ahead and just implement it too. So if this what just happened there? Let me. Okay, so maybe that semicolon was breaking up the auto format. There we go. Yeah. So if this is not contained in the tile sprite.isActive is active equals false, turn sprite. Cool. All right, now let's see if this actually works. Levels, test, new dungeon theme, load. And if I hit play, okay, I'm getting those at the correct height, but let's no clip and see if it's placing them outside the level in that short hallway there. It's not. Cool. So it looks like it is respecting the ceiling height. I guess what I can do is over here I can just grab the ceiling manually and just lower it to the point where this ought to clip here. So let's see. Yeah, so it's not placing them. That's the problem with procedural generation too. Sometimes, like if you test it once, you can't be sure that it actually works as you think it does. You can hit Control Z to undo in the editor, which is nice. And now it places them back. Cool. So yeah, so I'm building a system that, so we have a system to place like these rocks and these grass like at random, or at least within certain rules. Like the grass usually shows up on tiles with grass. The rocks usually show up with tiles with rock, but not always. Also, I can set rules for wall textures. So I'm playing around with the system trying to replicate what I have here, where it will place windows dynamically and other architectural assets dynamically. So the thought is you can make a pretty bare room and it should decorate it to look reasonably nice. Okay. Okay, so that seems to be, that's a good addition to the wall GenInfo placer, and it still should. Real quick, let me just also test out, like if I maybe it should be a greater than equal. I think it's okay if they are flush. I think that's probably fine. Let me try to see if I can do attach that real quick. And over here in my info data, I can say attach to floor, true. Now when I play, we should get a bunch of, they should just, all the windows should be slammed against the floor. Should. Or they just don't show up. See, there they are, and oh, they're intersecting. That's not great. Here's what I did. Yeah, so something I've goofed something somewhere. Let's take a look. Blah, 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 blah. Let's put a breakpoint here. This is probably going to be a whole bunch of, yeah, spider webs. So what I want is, I don't care about those. I care about, we try attach to wall. Look at those. So info attached to wall is true. Attached to floor is true. So the copy.z should have got set to whatever the floor is, so 0. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking too, Javier. I think they might be this check I wrote they might be colliding with the floor, which is why I tried to flip that, or not flip it, but add the equal, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to. Let's see. They step into here. So just setting up position. Then we should check all these to make sure we're not intersecting existing stuff. Let me just jump down to here. I think this is what's going on. So entity contained in tile. Let's step in there. So the seal height is 2.5 and the max Y. EBB. EBB dot max dot Y. Yeah, that's just too low. And make this one EBB min dot Y. Cool. I'm just going to set a breakpoint here and just look at all the different, like what the scenarios we're getting. So let me just remove that one, so I don't care about that anymore. Remove. The floor and ceiling height, I guess, are relevant. Move that watch. So ceiling height is 2.5. So the min Y. Why is it? Yeah, so that it should be equal to the floor height. So hopefully that shouldn't goof things up. Let's see. So min Y -5 -5. So less than, equal to. Yeah. So yeah, I think that equal to is what goofs it, because I'm testing for a negative, not for a positive. Let's try running that again. How you're saying one solution is to not check when that flag is set. That's true. Yeah, if I guess if we are attaching to the floor or the we're attaching to the floor or the ceiling, we should already have ensured that that is correct. So we might as well not run this check. That's actually a good suggestion.